Hey party people, it's Tech-Nic, and today we're going to look at this super rugged phone solution for you busy on-the-goers with a little dangerous tinge in your life. The Caterpillar S22. Let's go. Alright, so you may be asking yourself, Tech-Nic, why would we be looking at a phone released in 2021? Well, because this is a different type of thing. This isn't a phone I'm getting out and I'm playing Candy Crush on. This isn't a phone I'm taking out and I'm tweeting and I'm seeing I'm on Facebook seeing what old Zuckerberg's doing. I'm not trying to chat GPT somebody from this thing and write a sonnet. This is a working man's phone.
One of the guys told me to take my head out of my bottom and get back to work. My bottom!
This thing is meant to be super durable and to be built to last. It could take a little bit of abuse. Not that that's what we want to do to it, but that it can. We will fire this up in a second and look at it and see how this thing operates. But right off the bat first, okay, a Cat S22 and a Pixel 8 Pro. Let's give you an idea of the size here. This is going to strike back some memories for some of you elder folk out there.
It's slim enough to fit in a pocket, so it's easy to keep in touch.
My age and older, who remember this style being very prominent in the early 2000s. This thing runs Android 11 Go. So Android 11 Go is a lighter version of Android so that you're not spending $800, $900, $1,000 on a phone. This thing comes in at a whopping $60.
Wow.
So we get some things with this. Now, first of all, like I said, you got this first little notification screen on the front that prevents you from having to open this every time you get a text message or something comes in. On top of this being kind of thick here,
Damn, boy, he's thick!
We do have our speaker here is kind of this front-facing speaker. We have a screw in the back of this. That's what it holds in, so this can come off and you can replace the battery on that. You don't see that on phones very often anymore. Surprisingly though, even though this battery back can come off and expose components of this phone, this thing is waterproof to 5 foot deep for 35 minutes.
How are you? I am under the water. Please help me.
That's pretty impressive. It does have a map button here that you can program this to give it a function.
Oh my God.
To maybe one of the apps or to something on the phone, which is kind of a nice little thing here. It almost has this tricorder look from Star Trek. I know Caterpillar is not the phone of the future, but they've gotten us closer to Star Trek than anybody else has.
Very, very close.
When we talked about durability, these things are drop tested. They are dropping these from 6 foot onto steel, and this thing survives the fall. Pretty amazing there as well. Let's power this thing up for the first time and see what happens here together. While this fires up, obviously if this is a work phone and we're out doing what we're doing, these buttons are a physical click. I don't see really enough of any type of a room there to allow stuff to get in. And then on top of that, this thing is IP68 dust certified. So it's doing its work there to keep dust out of the inside of this device. So the front facing camera is a 2 megapixel camera. The rear is a 5 megapixel. It is gonna work in a pinch. And again, this is marketed to the working person, electricians, contractors, landscapers, outdoorsmen, greenskeepers, that are trying to get those pesky gophers. That they've got something that can take a little bit of a beating and then come back and still work just fine. We're not going to worry about going through the whole setup here, but we will just jump into this and see what this looks like. One thing will be interesting to see how my brain remembers, like I'm texting from forever ago.
Yeah.
My brain does not remember. So that's kind of wild. So when you're texting, hey Dad, you're in the video now, man. Over there.
I'm sure I'm invisible.
Hi, Drax.
So that is a little wild. I was expecting when I started using this, my brain was trying to go back and do it, the number of clicks. I was about to start spelling out my password. But it actually brings up an on-screen keyboard, which is very awkward and very small. And so that I can see being a little bit of an issue. Once we get this set up, we're going to quickly test a little bit of the performance, see what Android 11 Go looks like, and then get us some sound quality and maybe take a couple of pictures with it so that we can share that with you as well. Wow, it won't connect to the 5G router. As we're letting this setup finish, I'm just going to mention, they advertise a 12-hour talk battery. Now, for those of you that are rather young, or those of you that are my age and have forgotten, phones back then used to be all about talking on them.
I wasn't born in the 40s, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
And so that was how we metered how long they would last. I didn't really easily find anything for expected battery length when this is being used as a smartphone or a smarter phone, since it's running Android 11 Go. If you have this, say, in the dash of your truck, and say it is just a work phone in case you're out and you need to make a call or take a quick picture, in standby mode, this thing will keep charged for 13 days. This comes with 2 gigs of RAM and 16 gigs of storage built on. It does have a micro SD card slot, so you can change that and update that if you want to. We're finally getting into a version of Android here. It does tell me here that it has Google Assistant. That's going to be a huge help on this device. I will tell you that right now. So there is a way to go into the settings and turn on T9 so that you can use that texting option, or when you're trying to do alphanumeric entry, you can do from these buttons instead of the touchscreen. But I think what you're going to end up doing with this phone, as this thing's restarting on me for some reason, I think what you're going to end up using is the Google or Android Go button that is on this phone. That gives you the ability to do like a voice and a quick search. It kind of pulls everything on the phone into a searchable application, and that's really because the ease of use of this phone is not there comparable to what you're used to. So it's definitely not a smartphone, but it's not a dumb phone. It can do more than just make calls. I'm gonna put it much closer to the dumb phone side of the spectrum, but with that, like I said, there's some things that come on here. There's calculator and there's some tools like that come on here, but Google Go probably being your best feature here. And once you pull up Google Go, it's kind of like a shortcut, a one-stop here to quite a few things. So when I hit that, it pulls up a search on the phone. I can do a voice search, thank God. I can go to camera, translate, so I can turn this camera on and it'll automatically pull up Google Lens, and I can put it over something to translate to a different language. And then it also pulls up like YouTube, and then the generic translate. It also brings up my shortcut for my downloads. So Google Go kind of learns as you use the device and kind of makes recommendations, not only on what you use, but based on where you are. It uses your location data as well, your location information, to kind of sculpt as it learns you. So with use, Android 11 Go becomes a thing that's kind of tailored to the user. We're not going to mess with the T9 function. I'm not really looking at that, but let's snap a couple of little pictures here. We'll get a picture here of little Tech-Nic. Oh God. So when you want to take a photo, apparently I've got to see if I can use that button. I cannot. So when you use the camera, you have to touch this on-screen button. Let's flip this around and get a picture using the front camera, and we'll take a picture of old little Tech-Nic that way. Again, guys, that's a 5 megapixel and a 2 megapixel camera. So I mean, better than probably what you'd expect from that, but definitely not something that I think you're gonna use like you would another smartphone. Interestingly enough, it does give you editing options for that. So it pulls up this dumbed down version of Google's camera software, allowing you to kind of auto-correct and edit some of those features. The Google Erase is not there, so we're not taking background items out there. Maybe worth mentioning, obviously it has installed on here YouTube Music. So I can use my Google subscription to play music from this. So now I can download some apps, and I'm sure I could have Facebook on here, Instagram, or some other stuff, okay? But again, I just don't think that that's what you're going to want to be doing with this. Now, YouTube, I'm at work and I'm out and I'm digging ditches or I'm laying some line.
Worst that can happen is I can spill some on my $3,000 suit. Come on!
Or whatever, and I've finally got a minute to sit down. It does have YouTube on here. We're going to see, again, we kind of know what the video quality is going to look like on this screen. I mean, it's nice and bright, and we haven't messed with any of those settings. That's kind of the standard brightness. But we want to hear a little bit, if we can, a little bit of the sound quality. We'll do that here now. All right, we're gonna start this off again.
Hey guys, it's Nick with Tech-Nic, and today we hope this one sucks.
Let's go.
Hard. This is the Eufy handheld vacuum by Anchor. Let's go.
All right, look, I just want to say this was $50, so we're gonna do the unthinkable. We're gonna go to 100% volume and just see what happens. So, not super loud. That is maxed out. Now, obviously using Bluetooth, you can sync a pair of headphones to this and that wouldn't really be a concern. We do have this Google search bar right up here at the top, so I can click and do a voice search right there. I can also open the camera up from there. Guys, again, if you're looking at using one of these, what we're really looking at here is a durable device that'll give you the ability to call somebody, have a couple of tools, and a little bit of entertainment at your fingertips. For $50, you're getting a 4G device. It can have about 12 hours of talk time, 13 days of standby, and be durable enough to outlast any activity you might take it on. Think about camping, off-roading, outside of work. I mean, this could be that kind of survival phone. Now, it's not GPS. This one's running off of T-Mobile. Most of the variations we saw, I think, were T-Mobile or AT&T or one of those. So it's not a sat phone, but if you're in an area that's got a signal, this thing is rugged enough to go anywhere you're going to go. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this little brief description of what you're looking at here. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. If you're using this, tell us what you think in the comments below. I'm Nick with Tech-Nic. We'll catch you next time.